People wonder what got me into writing, and other people wonder how I write, and other people don't think I'm a very good writer at all. Writing to me has always been, and probably will always be, about expressing who I am and what I'm feeling through creativity. I think that the art of storytelling and being creative is something that, though I've always loved and wanted to improve myself in, not a lot of people take seriously anymore. I mean, why would they? Let's be honest here. I'm no William Shakespeare. I'm no J.R.R. Tolkien or C.S. Lewis. I'm well aware that my writing will probably never change anyone's life, nor will it get me fame or fortune. So why do it? That question is both the most difficult and most easy question I could ever answer. It's difficult because when you look at the practicality of writing, it won't guarantee happiness or success. I probably won't make much money off of it. A lot of people probably will not read my work or care about it, especially considering that writing is dying. No, not just writing, being creative and inspirational is dying. What point is there in being truly creative and passionate about something when you can literally throw together crap and get nominated or awarded for it? I mean, there's this great joke that one of my favorite comedians ever, Brian Regan, tells, where he was a kid and he woke up one morning knowing that he had to turn in a science fair project or some kind of science project. He totally forgot, so he goes outside with a cup, fills it with dirt, and goes in and calls that his assignment. And the teacher comes by and goes, "What have you got there?" Like almost humoring him, just going, "It's a cup of dirt." He goes, "Well, tell us about it." "It's a cup with dirt in it. Put an F on it already." Well, I think Brian Regan was being too hard on himself. Turn that crap into a museum and call it great art. I mean, because in some cases, I feel like that's where we're headed with our art these days, with our storytelling. I mean, there's straight up. There was at one point a piece of art in a museum at New York City. It was a solid gold toilet that people could defecate in. And the title of this exhibit was America. Shocking, isn't it? But that's what it is now. There's no room for creativity, only for shock value. When I was a kid, I loved watching Teen Titans, the animated TV show. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was mature enough for me to understand, but not so mature that I couldn't appreciate some of the silly gags and humor. It had legitimate, fun action scenes, but kept actual drama in it. I genuinely wanted to see these characters succeed. I felt for them in their darkest moments. The scene where Cyborg has to deal with himself not being human, Raven having to come to grips with her father issues, Beast Boy having security problems about once being a sidekick, and now being his own hero, Starfire being homesick and having sister issues. It was pretty good. Nothing groundbreaking, but pretty good. And then you have Teen Titans Go, which waffles and fart jokes. There's no substance. It's more colorful and bouncy, and I guess at its best moments funnier. But that's entertainment? Really? I I have no words. You go to a museum now and you might see something like the Mona Lisa. You might see something like the Last Supper. You might see something like David's Michelangelo, or you might just see a big rock. You might just see a policewoman squatting on the ground, peeing on the floor. in storytelling. Disney. Disney, one of the pinnacles of my childhood. The man who gave us such wonders as Bambi, Cinderella, Peter Pan. The man whose company would go on to create things like The Lion King, Treasure Planet. Now they've bought out other companies like Star Wars and Marvel because apparently they trust their own products so little they need to take other products. And they trust their original content so little they feel like they have to remake everything into a modern setting with live action crap instead of what made them wonderful. I know that this sounds morbid, and I didn't mean for it to be this way. I wanted to just ramble a little bit about writing and creativity. But the more I think about it, the more sad I feel that what happened to being creative? I don't think people understand what creativity is anymore. I think that a lot of that has died in the hearts of men and women. What is creativity? What is it to imagine something? I'm going to try to paint a picture for you. Creativity, imagination, storytelling, art is not just being shocking or funny. It is the ability to reach out and take what essentially cannot be seen or heard or smelled, to take things that you can only feel, emotions, sensations, ideas. Take that and make it meaningful. You can make it tangible through photos or pictures or sculptures. You could make it readable through stories or poems. But whatever the case, you're taking that which is not there, taking something that only you can sensationalize, only you can connect to, and make everyone connect to it. It is taking my inspiration, my desire for adventure and romance, and making you feel it with me. It is the ability to take a scene like The Last Supper and give it a visual representation to a modern audience. It is the ability to take the idea of thought and make it into a statue of a person thinking. It's the ability to take what we can't explain and build on it. Some people say that art has to be relatable. I don't believe that. I believe we have to in some way connect to it. I believe we have to in some way respect it or recognize it. I don't know if it always has to be relatable, but what it does have to be is imaginative. It has to come from some place. No matter what, you are building on something else, be it something original that you came up with or something that you've already seen or experienced, whatever the case. Art, creativity, and imagination have to come from something meaningful. But nowadays, all I see and hear are people who couldn't imagine their way out of what is shocking and revolting. I love creating things. I love learning things. I love creating stories, learning how to better my craftsmanship. I love sharing my ideas with others. I'm a creative person. Now, whether or not I'm good or bad at it is debatable, and I'm willing to hear critiques and criticisms of my work and my thoughts and my imagination. But at the very least, I know that what I'm creating is meaningful, at least to me. I can't say that about all the things I've seen nowadays. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this is not to be a total downer. It's because as I teach English to my middle school class and my high school class back in the day, a lot of my students asked, what's the point? And in the end of it all, there is no point. Except what you make of it. There are times I just want to escape into the worlds I create. I want to create a story about a world of my own design where I am the hero. And then I want to jump out of this world and be that hero. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world. Unfortunately, I can't escape to that world. But I can share that idea with everyone. Thus, the tale of Tomiki was born. I want to create a world where my feelings on being an outcast can be shown, on how I can find friends in the strangest places, on how family is about more than just blood, about how that which we would deem monstrous can actually be wonderful. Monster Club. I want to create a story that takes my love and passion for Japanese history, but bring it into the modern era with one of my favorite genres, crime drama, stuff like Blue Bloods or The Sopranos, and create a crime serial, but with references to Japanese history. Shogun of Crime. It's what it takes to be creative. Taking a little bit of something that you have, or something that you feel, or something that you love, building on it. Creating something new out of nothing, or something that others would perceive as nothing. People say, hey, how do you come up with these ideas? Genuinely, I don't know. I don't know how to put it in words, but all I do know is that it takes the willingness to go beyond what's easy. It is so easy to just take the story of Cinderella and make people act it out and just throw in a few modern references. It's so easy to take Star Wars, modernize it, reference a few of the old characters, but make new ones and make them have relatable young adult issues. I sound like such a reactionary right now. I don't mean to be. Really what this is I'm rambling. I feel like I need to do this from time to time because I think it's therapeutic for me to get out my thoughts and feelings. And right now, as I sit around preparing for a long week of doing nothing, because quite frankly, I've been given a paid week leave to get some counseling and to really get my mind and heart straight. I don't want to sit around and do nothing with my time when I'm not in sessions. I want to really get out my feelings and thoughts. And the only way I can think of to do that is to share my feelings and thoughts. Share them with you. And if you don't care what I have to say, then don't listen. You don't have to. I'm just doing this because I think it'll help me. And maybe y'all will take something from it. Y'all, I'm going to end on this and then I'll stop rambling because this has been going on a while. I love creating. I love creativity. In fact, I love it so much I didn't script any of this. All of what you've just heard was me just rambling off the cuff. So I'm sure it sounds a little incoherent. But I feel like there's a whole world in my head waiting to come out. And every day I get new ideas, new sensations, new colors and textures to play with, new wants, and I don't know what to do with them. Do I make a story that won't last longer than a few chapters? Do I make a poem that no one's going to read? Do I make a video that will only get a few watchers? Or do I tuck it all away and torture myself knowing that I might have created something interesting? I don't know. This is the world we live in. And all I can do is create my own and share it with you. I'm not going to write things that are filled with porn or sex or shock value or humor or jokes. I want to create something that will be meaningful and lasting, something that will change lives. I think that's one of the other reasons I chose to write, not just to express my creativity, but to help change lives. And I don't know if I have or if I ever will, but I do know that it's what I want to do. I do know that I'll never get anywhere until I try. So take this for what it's worth. All this was a ramble, a rant, where I went off in different directions about what creativity was, how creativity is dying in the modern day, and why I became a writer. This video is probably all over the place right now, but I felt I had to share it. I hope y'all got something out of this. If you did, fantastic. Let me know what you got out of it in the comments. If you didn't, I'm sorry I wasted about 16 minutes of your life. But either way, this was just a writer's ramble. Thanks for taking the time.